You are listening to the Julie Parker Practice Success Podcast, where you discover management insights and strategies for your successful dental practice. There are also interviews with key people in the industry who have advice and services to help you and your team achieve great success. Welcome to this episode of the Julie Parker Practice Success Podcast. And today I've got a tremendous guest, John Giliberto of SilverFlow Technologies. Welcome, John.
Welcome to you too, Julie, and thanks for having me on.
That's my pleasure. Now, John, you are the founder of SilverFlow Technologies, which is a company that creates systems for water purification, and this can be very relevant to dental surgeries, can't it?
Absolutely, Julie. Yes, it can be. It has a lot of advantages for the dental sector.
So as we know, in dental surgeries, we have spent decades and decades using as many chemicals as we can possibly find to make sure our infection control practices are up to speed. But a lot of these chemicals are very damaging to the human body, but also damaging to the equipment that we use as well. And would I be correct in saying that SilverFlow Technologies and silver water for purification can really help in this space?
Absolutely, it can, Julie. First of all, it's an all-natural process, and the ingredient used, which is the silver, which is produced in a high-efficacy form, and recognised by several government bodies here and internationally. So what it does is actually protects, for instance, the water lines in a dental clinic, at prevention from biofilm, but it eliminates the use of the chemicals, as you say, to maintain the water lines. I'm not sure if the ICX pills are still in existence, but they have been always a damaging factor, if I can say that. But what we've got is a natural purification process which protects the equipment, it protects the dental water lines, and it's safe and non-toxic, and it's what we need to be using, Julie, in the dental sector moving forward. We firmly believe that, strongly believe that that's the case.
That's wonderful. And you just mentioning those ICX tablets, I know that from my awareness that they are still being used all the time, and they've got a corrosive effect, do they, on dental equipment lines?
They have indeed. But it is what it is. It's what the dental sector has been using for, as you say, decades. We have got the solution, and we want to try and make some impact to try and start a new trend to get away from the ICX pills and use something that's natural and protects equipment, protects total hygiene in the dental practice, dental hospital, whatever it might be, and more importantly, it's a good protection factor for the patient in terms of the water that's coming from the water lines, which can sometimes be contaminated, if I can be a little bit harsh, but that is sometimes the case. But we believe we have the solution for that.
That is just wonderful. So first of all, I'm going to get you to talk about why silver is a tremendous disinfectant and a good water purifier. And then I want to start talking about how that can be applied within the dental surgery and what that means to the behaviours of people within the dental surgery. So what is the silver? Why is it such a wonderful resource?
Julie, silver has been used for many, many, many thousands of years. We won't elaborate too much on that, but in recent times, particularly in the last 25 to 30 years, there is a person that has had the ability to maximise the efficacy of the silver use. Now, silver is it's used all over the world, in different formats, in different strengths. And when I refer to strength, I mean it's probably 55 to maybe 60% effective on, for example, infection control. We are lucky to have the silver in the right format, which is 100% effective against infection and preventing infection. We have recognition that from that for Australian government laboratory. Also have recognition from National Health and Medical Research Council. We have a bit of a look in from the TGA that have no hesitation in agreeing that the silver that we use is of high quality and maximum standard. So we're pretty excited about that. The strength of the silver that we use is, I think I can elaborate a bit more. It's actually 99.999%, which is technically fine silver. So in that regard, it has the most highest efficacy rate, and the advantages are outstanding right across the board. For dental clinics in particular, it's safe, it's non-toxic, it controls infection, it has the ability to perhaps control Legionella outbreak, should that be the case, totally eliminate the ICX chemicals, the pills, and also has the ability to produce in-house distilled water, which doesn't use any chemicals, and is, again, safe and totally free of any bacteria or bad nutrients. So it's completely pure, clean, safe water, and highly effective for use in dental clinics and hospitals.
Fantastic. And I remember you and I and Charles had a great meeting, a long meeting about SilverFlow technology. And from my perspective, it just got more exciting and more exciting as we spoke, because some of the things that we're talking about are things that are highly relevant to dental practices. Number one, we want to start with, we're not aware of the corroding effects of some of these chemicals on the equipment, and the equipment costs so much money. And if it breaks down, it costs us so much money. And so it does protect the equipment the way the current chemicals, ICX tablets, etc., do not. It also removes the need for to have a water distiller sitting there in the corner of the steri room steaming up the place, and it's another task that you don't need to do.
Correct.
All of the water that you fill your autoclave with, which is normally the distilled water, that's all SilverFlow technology water, and it is maintaining the integrity of the autoclave itself. But the elimination of the need of chemicals, I don't want to minimise that for both patients and the users of it. It is very common for us to be misusing these chemicals and making the ratios out of whack, and so they're a bit more poisonous to us or hazardous to us than what they would originally be. But on all of these chemicals, they've got these warning labels that they're terrible for women who are trying to fall pregnant, general health, dermatitis, and then once it gets to the waterways and to the oceans, it's terrible on the environment and fish life as well. But the other thing that we determined back in our meeting, which was a little while ago now, was that we can start to reintroduce cold sterilisation on some of our items within the dental surgery as well. And this has been a practice that was common when I was a young dental nurse, 150 years ago. And there's such a effective need for that still, but we feel we can't do it. I mean, we're throwing out things that they still hold their integrity, but they're designed as single use, so we're throwing these things out. And we want to try to avoid just continually to add to the landfill that we are such big contributors to in medical and dental fields. But with the SilverFlow and Silver technology, we can start to reintroduce that cold steri process again.
We can, Julie, absolutely. And all of the above is correct, what you said. With the silver technology has the incredible ability to protect equipment, to protect water lines, to actually enhance the safety when it comes to patient health. in whether it's drinking from the or not drinking, but gargling your mouth with water. All of those things. It's the silver content that's in the water that is not allowing bacteria to build at all. In fact, it's an instant kill of bacteria, and it's healthy for the human body. It's an infection control agent, which also has the ability to just go to the next extreme in human protection in terms of ingestion. So it's highly effective right across the board. We're struggling to understand why some of the big bodies overseas, and I'm referring to the dental sector, have not enhance the opportunity to let's hear about it, let's talk about it, let's give it a trial and just see whether what you're saying is actually correct. And we know it is because we've got the documented evidence to prove that. So, look, it's an exciting, step forward in the dental sector. And if I could just mention, so we're privileged to receive the testimonial from Professor Laurie Walsh.
That's terrific news, John, and it does encourage the listeners out there to jump onto your website and read through some of the data that you've got there so they can be rest assured that silver can be quite a powerful resource for their practice.
Yes, that's a good idea, Julie. They can briefly read and have a good understanding of what we're actually promoting and the efficacy that the silver technology does provide for the dental clinics and dental hospitals globally, in fact.
Fantastic. So with I know that years gone by, we used to always have colloidal silver in our medicine cabinet, and Mum would always give us colloidal silver rather than possibly antibiotics. And is it right, before antibiotics was around, colloidal silver was used quite routinely for bacterial infections?
Absolutely. So the Romans and the Greeks, even the Chinese, they say 1,000 years ago, Julie, I'm assuming that that's correct, they all used silver in whatever format it was available to combat infection. That is a fact. It's written in a lot of medical journals around the world. Silver's come a long way since then, but the colloidal silver that you mentioned is now readily available and has been for 25 to 30 years in health food stores around Australia, also in Hong Kong, South Africa, as I understand it. But the quality of the colloidal silver, and the brand that I'm referring to, is the absolute best of all the colloidal silvers. And I'm just talking facts. I'm not standing on anybody's toes, but the colloidal silvers are highly effective for the human body. There is one element that I should mention, and that is that colloidal silvers have to be manufactured correctly. There's different types of manufacturing processes for colloidal silver. The little machines that you can buy from the internet, or used to be able to buy from the internet, to make colloidal silver, you cannot make a good quality colloidal silver. In fact, having done it that way has proven to be more dangerous than effective. Dangerous in terms of people getting discoloration of the face. But as I say, it's progressed a long way. The TGA, I think, stepped in and cleaned a little bit of that up. And I hope I'm not stepping out of line. But today, the colloidal silver that is on the market, one brand in particular, is of high quality standard and effectiveness. I would say probably not close to 90%, but very close, if that makes any sense. I can't talk about the other brands, but in general, the colloidal silver these days has come a long way. The silver that we use is in a different format. It's electronically collected, Julie, as you know, so it has a far higher rate of efficacy than just their normal colloidal silver, which is not manufactured like our silver and produced like our silver is.
Fantastic. And with the SilverFlow technology water, can that be ingested by staff members and patients and the public? What happens when we ingest that?
Well, Julia, you can ingest it, and it is very, very good for the human body. It protects against infection, bodily infection. It can, taken over time, improve and boost your immune system, and it can effectively make you resistant to colds and flus. Now, again, I need to be a little bit cautious on how I term things, but we have the proof, we have the knowledge. We go back 20 years, and we firmly believe, and there's a lot of living evidence out there within Australia at least, that still take colloidal silver these days and have huge benefits from it. Yes, you can drink the SilverFlow technology water when it's been treated and implemented with the silver content. That is 100% healthy and good for the human body, and it in some cases can assist in healing certain issues that a person has in the body. Now, by that I mean it's the healing power and the natural efficacy that it has to fight off infection and to protect to protect against infection, pretty much. So it's 100%.
100%. As you know, the oral cavity, we have extraction sites that we want to avoid having an infection start up. We've got periodontal and gingivitis, so problems within the gums where we've got the bacteria within the gums that when we do treatments of that, we want to make sure we're leaving it in an environment that is going to trigger that healing response. We've got, caries and decay that attack the tooth, and that's another different type of bug as well. And so I wonder ever since COVID hit, all of a sudden we're doing a lot of pre-procedural mouth rinses to make sure that we are treating the environment such that when there are aerosols, there are fewer bacterial virus-ridden aerosols coming out. So I imagine the SilverFlow water will be very good as a pre-procedural mouth rinse before you start doing the filling or the cleaning.
Absolutely, Julie. It has an immense amount of advantages, not just for the human body, but in other applications, domestic and commercial, but in particular for dental clinics. The silver is a unique format of a natural, ultimately a natural ingredient that has the extreme ability to just protect and to kill infection and to fight off viruses and all that sort of thing. So the ingestion of silver, absolutely, it's good for the human body. The patient in a dental clinic that has an extraction, 9 times out of 10, and I could be wrong there, but they will get a gum infection because the water that they rinse the mouth out with in the dental chair is actually treated with a chemical, which is normally coloured, as we all know. Now that is exposing your skin, your gum rather, straight away to infection. And not all of us get infected, but I remember a long time ago, Julie, I had some extractions and straight away I got a gum infection, antibiotics. Now we have a solution on the table. You can safely rinse your mouth out. It will kill the infection in your gum. It will prevent infection from spreading. And your gum will heal a lot quicker than it normally would if it goes through the normal process of treating your gum with antibiotics. So it is a absolute marvel in that regard, and I think the dental sector in particular, will be grateful for what we have now, what we've been able to achieve, and it's a safe and a peace of mind alternative that I think we need to address and hopefully take on board, Julie.
Yeah, and when you think about what life was like 50 years ago compared to now, and all the additions that are putting stresses on our physical bodies, when we talk about, genetically modified food products, we talk about all the herbicides and pesticides on our food before it lands on our table. We talk about, so many people are on some kind of medication now, where 50 years ago it was far more rare to have so many people on medications. And we got to talk about hair color dyes, skin creams, makeups. Even I was listening recently to a podcast episode that talked about clothing that doesn't require as much ironing has a chemical embedded within it that also is quite toxic to our skin as well. So we are constantly laying chemical or negative impact on top of negative impact all the time. And our systems can only sustain so much. And so when you start to hit that tipping point and you start getting, any kind of inflammation responses to all the stimuli around us, it would be prudent to our health to do what we can to utilize things like SilverFlow technology and silver water purification, so we can start step by step eliminating all of these stressors on our body.
Yeah, absolutely right, Julie. It's an education process, really, for people to try and get their head around what we have and why it's so beneficial to the human body. It is a long education process. It's one that we've actually struggled with to convince people that, this is what we should be, putting in our bodies rather than other, antibiotics and chemicals. Look, at the end of the day, your GP prescribes you antibiotics. You just take those antibiotics. But if you're on the other side of the fence, Julie, and you're a greenie, and you believe in the natural alternative, and you know that natural alternative works, then you've got to make that swing and give it a try and convince yourself that that's going to be what you need moving forward. So yeah, there's lots of things out there that we're not told about that are chemical contained, but it is what it is. How can we control that? We can't. So all we can praise is what we have, the safety of it. We've got unlimited documentation, Julie, as you know, of evidence of the safety and the non-toxicity of this specially formulated silver. And I say specially formulated because it is produced at the highest level that it can be produced. And in addition to that, what makes it even more unique is that it's electronically collected and it's more effective that way than it is in the colloidal silver state. This was an invention by a very intelligent man, quite a long time ago, and it's carried forward, and we've developed it and spent a lot of time with it, and we've got it up to a stage now where we can tell the world, come on, what are you waiting for? We've got the solution here. We've got the evidence. We've got everything you need.
Yeah, that's right. What else do you need? And it's just breaking out of the routine of what we're currently doing and acknowledging there is a better way out there. Now, we spoke about the impact on bacteria, but on viruses and COVID, what is it just as effective in killing those bugs?
Julia, it is very much so. We have done lots and lots of testing over the years, and more recently on some viruses. We believe, and I'll touch on COVID, we believe that COVID is a virus. We believe that this, and I'll rephrase it from silver to the technology process, that it can actually intercept severely the COVID virus. And I'll explain quickly how COVID will enter via your nasal passage and end up in your lungs. Spraying the new nasal passage spray that we've got, the antiviral nasal spray, we believe, not just us, but externally, from our scientists has commented on it as well, that it will actually dismantle the impact of COVID. So it will dismantle it in such a way that it won't get to your lungs, if that makes any sense. Now, that might be an outrageous comment, but if you think about it, the silver can account for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different viruses. And COVID perhaps is different, but it's still a virus. And we've studied COVID intently, and we believe that it can reduce the impact. Now, if it only reduces the impact of the virus getting to your lungs, our job's done. You've been listening, and we've been listening to TV commercials, and I won't name any names, but they're saying that can kill the COVID-19 virus. Really? Well, I question that. So we're not claiming that we can kill COVID-19. We are saying that what we have has the ability to reduce significantly the impact. That's all we're saying. So, and that again is a special silver that we have.
Well, that's really good news because, number one, if when the patients are coming in, you're giving them the pre-procedural mouth rinse of that water, and if they are unaware they have COVID, we're reducing down the impact of it. But then staff members, I think every industry are losing staff members left, right, and centre because they've had a PCR test positive or a rat test positive for COVID. And if every team member had one of these mist sprays to, in their handbags at home in their car, so if they were to spray that every day, then even if they are exposed to the disease, to the virus, then the impact on them physically will be less so, but also they may remain robustly healthy despite the fact that they've had a contact with COVID.
Absolutely, Julie, and that is actually a fact, that if they use the nasal spray every day, and you cannot overdose on the use of silver the way we have it, because the more you use, it doesn't make any difference whether you use 5 mil or 50 mil. It makes the first 5 mil will have that initial effect. So yes, it would be a good idea for everyone to carry around 100 mil mist spray bottle of our nasal spray in your handbag, in your briefcase, in your top pocket, wherever it might be, where you're travelling overseas. But Julie, the thing is, we have to get that message across to the people and get some sort of support behind us for that to happen. There's lots of different products on the market these days that absolutely are bombarded with COVID-19 alternatives. I can't tell you one that actually has any significance on the COVID-19 virus. That is just my opinion. But what we know is that what we have can certainly have that impact, and that is not just us saying that. It's not documented evidence. It's scientists that have actually looked at what we have, and agreed that yes, we agree that possibly would be the case. And based on what we've seen, we firmly believe that possibly would be the case. So there's strong support for it, but the product's ready to go, Julie. But we've got to get the support for it as well.
Yeah, for sure. And it does need to be a push to break everyone out of that mental space that, no, there has to be chemicals there. So, what does it look like for a practice if they're super excited out there and they're thinking we need to introduce this for the health of our team members, for the health of our patients, and for the longevity of our equipment? We need to bring this into play. So, what does that look like? I think I remember from our previous discussions that you can either get it plumbed in per surgery, but you could even get plumbed in for the whole practice. And so the water is in every surgery, in the kitchen, in the steri room.
Yeah, entirely, Julie. Ideally, in a dental hospital, one of our systems would be plumbed in line in their pump room. In a dental clinic, the small systems can be plumbed in line next to the chair, or they can be plumbed in the utility room that the dental clinics use. So it's pretty flexible in that regard, but we just need to cut into the water lines, connect our system, and the water going through our system will treat all the water in that whole complex, whether it be a dental hospital or just a 2 or 3 chair dental clinic. So the entire water usage would be protected, would have our silver content in it, and it would be protecting and having huge advantages, not just on the patients, but huge cost savings for the dental practices. We touched on this before for the distilled water use. You can do it on site, protecting the equipment, protecting the water lines. So it's cost saving, progressively in all aspects.
And it's not a big bulky unit. It's just quite small, as you say. You cut through the water lines. You install this in the middle, and you don't need a big room to be able to put that into place.
No, it's just, Julie, the systems that we use for the dental clinics are your traditional looking water filter style systems, only we have the protection of the stainless steel housings, which if installed outside, it has protection from UV. But in the clinics, we install the system next to the chair, or as I said before, utility room or wherever, and our electronic box is attached to the system, and that's what makes us look different to the other predominantly water filter systems that are just the water filters without the disinfection of the silver and the electronic process as well. So they're very. I think they're about 5 kilos in weight, Julie, and around about in the old about 12 or 13 inches high and 6 inches or 7 inches wide. So they're very compact, highly effective, and they're not heavy. So it's the exercise of fitting one of our systems to a dental chair is pretty quick, and the plumbers will do that with their eyes closed.
Great, fantastic. And then maintenance, after you've got the equipment in place, what is the maintenance? I think there needs to be filter changeovers and things like that.
Okay, well, with the maintenance process, Julie, the replacement of the filters would normally be once every 12 months, and that is because the low flow rate that's used in a dental clinic. And the silver replacement could be 14, 16, 17 months, just depends on the water usage in that clinic or the daily water usage. Now, each one of those systems can treat up to 1,000 litres of water per day. A dental clinic would not do that in one day. So the maintenance process is very simple. You change the filters because they need to be changed because of wear and tear, not because they're blocking up with bacteria, which is why water filters block up, because of the bacteria that's clogging up the system. So in our systems, you won't see any clogging at all, but you'll need to change the filters, as I said, once every 12 months, just because of the wear and tear of the water going through all the time. And the replacement of the silver is probably around $60 per year, may even exceed 14 months. So it's pretty reasonable in terms of costs when you compare all the other factors of maintenance on water lines, which are quite expensive.
That's right, and the purchasing of all of these ICX tablets and pulley jet and all of these other things as well. And so, in terms of that, of the suction systems, and that we run through a disinfectant through the suction system lines, are we also saying that we just need that SilverFlow water running through?
Absolutely, that's it. Just the water that's treated via our system. Look, this is going to be difficult for people to get their head around, but we've done the groundwork. We're now saying, look, have a look at us. This is what we're doing. This is what our systems can do. I think you've been sitting on the chair too long. Get up and have a look around and see what we've got. And this is highly beneficial. We believe it's the way moving forward, not just for dental clinics, Julie, but for other commercial and domestic sectors. So we firmly and strongly believe that is the case.
It's very exciting, I have to say. I'm as excited as I was when we first spoke to each other. I should say I think I was more excited when we first spoke to each other because my mind was being blown. But it's a lovely reminder of how wonderful this can be for, as I say, not just your dental practice, but for the people that work within your dental practice and the visitors to it in the form of patients as well. So if people are interested to find out whether they can implement this system in their practice, what's their next best step?
I guess they can contact us directly, Julie, or they can go to our website and leave an email message asking for inquiries, information, which we're happy to forward. And if they're interested in purchasing one of the systems, well, then they can also do that through our website as well. And if they want to read a little bit more, we've got as you know, we've got a little bit of a dental information tab on our website that just elaborates a little bit more and a little bit more information for their peace of mind.
Fantastic. So this can eliminate the use of all the chemicals that we're currently using for infection control. We just use now water from the tap that's been gone through the SilverFlow technology filtration or water purification process. We can drink it. It's good for everyone. The reduction in cost is extraordinary because a lot of these chemicals are quite costly. Can you imagine all of the storage that you'll gather now? You don't have to have all these litres of chemicals sitting under your steri room sinks and things. It's just magnificent. It is something that to be flexible of mind and to recognise there doesn't have to be chemicals in play to be able to achieve very effective infection control. And SilverFlow technology seems to be a wonderful solution that ticks so many boxes and really does put the chemical side of things as a very poor second option. And so I encourage dental practices, find out more about this, find out how you could implement this into your practice and make it a far more safe environment for everybody and, stop destroying that expensive equipment as well. John, thank you so very much for coming on and speaking about this. You and I are going to have this ongoing relationship because I'm so passionate about, we're both so passionate about making this the form of infection control for dental practices around Australia. And your advice and knowledge is extraordinary. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Julie, and a pleasure to be on.
I'll have all of the SilverFlow contact details and website details in the show notes. So I do encourage everyone to jump onto that as soon as possible. And I look forward to speaking to you next time. Bye-bye. If you enjoyed today's podcast, then you should come along and join the club. The club is a whole library of lunch and learns with new lunch and learns being produced all the time that help your dental team gain greater success in your systems, in your team behaviours, in your patient management, in your patient engagement, in their treatment plans. They are usually around half an hour in length, and so team members can sit down, be paid for their lunch break, eat lunch while they're being inspired and delivered all of these insights and strategies that can be implemented so you all achieve greater levels of success. Also, Amina and I, my buddy from Dental Management Expertise, have a company, Dental Business Mastery, together. And our flagship online 1-year course for dental practice managers and dental practice owners to learn how to very successfully manage your dental practice is available. Head over to dentalbusinessmastery.com.au to find out more information, and has information about any other courses that we've got available. Also, make sure you do jump onto my website, julieparkerpracticesuccess.com.au, and you will see a whole load of free information. There are articles, the blog, downloads, templates, a whole load of things that are designed to help you overcome any specific challenge that you've got going on in your practice at the moment. If you have any suggestions of topics or guests that I can have on the podcast, please let me know. Thanks for listening.